Take 9. Is your life kinda complicated? Welcome to One Take, the podcast designed to seek wisdom to live simple, healthy, and happy. We'll get there one take at a time. I'm your host, Jasmine Thomas. And welcome to Take 9 of One Take, the podcast. I am your host, Jasmine Thomas, and I really appreciate that you are joining me today. My featured guest today has a great inspirational story. She is a Mexican immigrant who arrived to the United States with nothing and has been able, through hard work, to forge a successful career as a radio DJ and business owner. Ana Cruz is an award-winner blogger, radio DJ, and journalist. Her radio career started basically passing stickers out to fans of the radio station she worked for in Dallas, but quickly propelled to a very successful career. She was part of the team that was recognized by the National Association of Broadcasters with the Station of the Year Marconi Award. She is also a successful blogger, having received in 2016 the award for Best Lifestyle Blog by Hispanicize. This organization honors excellence in U.S. Latino online video, blogging, and media. Ana is a single mom, the first person in her entire family to go to college, and one that had a dream and was not going to let anything stop her from achieving it. This is my feature interview with Ana Cruz. Well, as I promised to you today, we have an episode that's going to be super special. This is a Tex-Mex style episode because today you have two Mexicans on the microphone. So good luck with us, guys. We're going to be hopefully speaking English, maybe Spanglish. We don't know yet, but we're going to discover. I want to welcome Ana Cruz. She is a friend of mine. She's also a colleague. She is a radio DJ, and she is someone that's always having a good attitude. And you know, guys, I've talked to you about how this year, 2017, is a year of good attitude for me. And I want to surround myself with people that have an example for me to follow. And that would be Ana Cruz. Ana, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, Jasmine. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I still remember the day that you were telling me about your podcast. I was so excited and I'm so proud of you. And I'm so happy to see that you are actually doing what you were thinking.
That was a few months ago. I had no idea how to do it, but I remember telling you, I want to do this and I don't know how, but we're going to get this done.
And you did.
I did. And you told me you're interested and you're probably working on it. So hopefully everyone who's listening, pretty soon we can have some news about Ana's podcast too.
I will. I promise.
Excellent. So, Ana, let us start today by telling us a little bit about yourself. What do you do now? How do you get to where you are right now?
Okay, I'm going to try to do this very short because I talk a lot. That's my main issue. I talk a lot. So please
That's how you make a living.
Yeah. I remember when I was little, my mom used to call me, I don't know if you know about this word, taravilla. So taravilla in Mexico means when someone never stopped talking. And she laughed at me when I was little and she was like, you never stop talking. And I was like, Mom, one day I'm going to leave and I'm going to make money because I never stopped talking. And thank God that happened.
And you did.
I did. So, yeah, well, as you mentioned it, my name is Ana. I'm originally from Mexico, from Guanajuato. I went to college and I studied journalism. And then at that moment, I discovered so many things that now I'm in love with journalism, media in general. So, yeah, I was working there in a huge company. I think everybody knows about Televisa. I was doing news back in Mexico. But then one day I decided to come to the U.S. following my American dream. What I didn't know was the challenge I was about to confront. And it was really hard when I got here. And I like to be honest, Jasmine, because people need to know that it's not easy, but also they need to know that it's possible. So when I got here, I was coming to the U.S. with a visa, with a tourist visa. And then I didn't know that you need a social number to be able to work. I didn't know so many things. And I didn't know the language very well. So it was a huge challenge for me. But I did it. I did it because, you just have one life. And if you don't do what you love, you're going to die being no one. So I had to do it. When I came, I started working in landscaping, painting houses, in restaurants, doing whatever I need to do just to, have food in my table.
Wow.
And I still remember my stepfather, he works as a main guy. He does maintenance for apartments. So I remember going with him to work painting houses. And one day he told me, I'm sorry, mija. I know that that you went to college in Mexico, but I have this house that we need to paint. I don't know if you want to go with me and I can give you some money. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go because my mom taught me that every single job, as long as it's a decent job, is a good job. So let's do it. And I went with him and he was listening to the radio by then. And there was a very, very famous radio show. I don't know if I can say the name, but it was very popular.
You could probably say it, yeah?
Yeah, because he's a very good guy and he's actually a very good friend of my family, Piolín en la Mañana.
Uh-huh.
So he was listening to that show, was very popular by then. And he told me, mija, one day, I'm sure you're going to work with this guy. Honestly, I didn't like his style because he's original Mexican music and I don't like the style, but I was like, okay. But those words have been on my mind since then because these people, my family, the people that loves me, they believe more in me than even myself. Sometimes I was so desperate, tired, and disappointed of myself that I thought that I was dreaming too big. And then, thanks God, the time, flies. And then I started working in another restaurant. And then finally, I got my work permit and I applied for CBS Radio, for a huge radio company. And then I started working there. And I started since, like the basics. I started putting stickers in cars, but showing to my bosses that I have ethic, that I love what I do, that I could do so many things. I was just looking for an opportunity to show them what I can do. So 6 months later, I had the opportunity to do the traffic report. And then I remember that they were like, Ana, you speak perfect Spanish. And I was like, of course, that's my language. I hope at least I can speak, like a professional Spanish because my English is just so bad. So they were so happy. And then something happened. I don't even remember what happened, but I ended being the traffic girl. And then 2 months later, this guy came from San Francisco. He was very popular. He was a great, energetic, spiritual guy. His name is Edgar Sotelo Shoboy. Mm-hmm. So he was the one starting a new morning show with the company. And he was looking for, a co-host. Of course, they never thought about me because I was the traffic girl and I was, I just had my baby. By that time, my baby was 2 months old. Wow. So they never thought about me. But Edgar saw me working one day in a promotion, and he saw me running like crazy, putting stickers everywhere, talking to people, introducing him to people, smiling, happy. And he asked me, hey, Ana, I'm looking for someone to do the traffic report in the mornings and maybe doing some gossip segments. Are you interested in helping me while I find my co-host? And I was like, of course. Yeah, I can do that. So I need to tell you this, Jasmine, because those were, like very special moments for me. And I was working as a manager in a restaurant back then. My baby was 2 months old. I was living in a very, the Oak Cliff area here in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
It's I don't even have to explain you, but we were living in a house probably worse than my house in Mexico. We were working really hard, and then I was making just enough money to, to pay my bills and to give food to my baby. And then I switched my shift to the night shift, just to be able to be in the morning at the radio station. So I was working from 3 p.m. to 12 a.m. at the restaurant. Then I I used to just, like leave to my house and pick up my son, put my son in a car seat, and drive to the closer library to my house, because I didn't have internet by then. So I parked.
Oh, so you were working remotely.
Yeah. Well, actually, no, I just drove all the way to the library to be able to connect to internet, to get my gossip notes, to get prepared for the
Okay.
show. So I used to go back to my house and then sleep 2 hours and be at the station at 4 in the morning. So I
Wow.
just sleep in 2 hours. And I did that for a month, helping the new guy, the new show. And he saw me one day and he was like, Anna, I didn't know that you were working so hard. Used to be here in the mornings. And I was like, and I'm not complaining. I'm not a victim. I just want to show you that I can do this. So we always cry.
Yeah.
He's one of my best friends right now. And I remember we were crying that day and he was like, you know what? You deserve this job. And they give me the job. So that's how I started being in a morning show. And I'm so proud of this, Jasmine, because most of the people, they work like 5 or 10 years to be able to be in a morning show. And thanks God that happened to me in less than a year. So I'm very proud of that. And there is how I started in radio.
Anna, that's an amazing story. And if you don't mind, I want to go back to 2 points that you mentioned. One, tell me what your dream was. What took you from leaving everything you knew in Mexico to coming here? And the other one, I just wanted to mention because it's amazing how you say that your family believed more in yourself than you did. It's amazing how I can relate to that so much. We all do that. I don't think we realize, we don't have the confidence, and everyone around us sees what we're capable of doing, but we have a hard time. And I thank you for sharing that with us, because I think a lot of our listeners can relate to that. Sometimes we don't have enough confidence to do things that we are perfectly capable of doing. And I think that's going to encourage a lot of people to know that when you think you're not good enough for something, you need to try it, because most likely you are good enough. So go back and tell me, what was that idea of your American dream?
Actually, it was not even what I had. I think God gave me more of I could imagine when I was back in Mexico. When I was there, my only dream was finding a job, having enough money to survive, because our reality in Mexico was very sad. I grew up in a town where you don't have many options. I was the first one in my entire family, from my dad's side and my mom's side, being able to go to college. And then my childhood was very, very poor if we talk about money. My mom suffered domestic violence for 20 years.
Wow.
It was just a sad situation, but at the same time, I was very happy because my mom always gave us so much love. Me and my two brothers never felt like victims. But I remember my mom saying, Mija, you have to go to school. You have to go to college, because that's going to make the difference. You got to get educated, because you don't want to be like me. You don't want to stay at home and, don't be able to find a job because we don't have options. So I always had that on my mind. So thanks God, when I graduated from college, I had the opportunity to go to Barcelona and get a workshop in media in Barcelona. So that opened my mind even more, because I was like, oh my God, it's more than my town. It's more than Guanajuato. It's more than Mexico. And now I cross the ocean and I'm in the other side of the world. And I was able to do that thanks to my family, because my mom was here in the US by then. She's an immigrant. She was I don't even know.
Undocumented.
Undocumented. And then she was working 2 jobs for me to be able to, to accomplish my dream. So that was just amazing, Jasmine. I didn't have option. I had to do it because she did so many things for me that was just nothing for me to do,
Yeah.
And then when I came here, yeah, of course, I had the dream to work in media. It was really hard for me because, as I mentioned it, I didn't have the documents that I needed. My English was even worse than now, so it was a big challenge, but it was possible. And it was possible because I never stopped dreaming. I never stopped working. I was very, focused, and I never give up. I never give up. And yes.
You never gave up, and just for everyone to know, just a few months ago, Anna was able to get her citizenship. And tell us how that made a difference, not just for that need that we have of we belong here and achieving your dream. How has that made a difference in you knowing that this is home for you now?
Well, it made a huge difference, not just for me, because I feel that I have to represent my community. And now being a U.S. citizen, I have the opportunity to be in the voice of many people, starting with my family, because now I can vote. Now I can inspire, if you can use the word, my people to find a way to, change their immigration status here in the U.S.
Yeah.
Because also I'm a mother, and I want to be a good example for my son. I don't want to be a victim. I want to be a, that strong mom that is not impossible thing for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my inspiration to become a U.S. citizen, to represent my family, to represent my community, to be the voice of my community. And of course, that changed my life, because now I can go back to my country. I can do so many things that I was not able to do before.
And I think your story serves as a lesson to many other immigrants, many of your followers that might be listening and tuning in to One Take the podcast, because I find that many people come here and they start working and they lose sight of the objective, which is improving our lives. And they get stuck in the work, but we don't educate ourselves. We don't learn the language. We don't pursue growth opportunities. We don't encourage the kids to go to college. And I think we are missing out on the huge opportunity that this fabulous country offers to be able to become the greatest individual you were born to be by working hard and pursuing excellence. And I think you are an excellent example of how you can do that.
Thank you, Jasmine. And you know what? I did a couple things when I was in radio to inspire people. I remember going to high schools to do motivation speeches and talking to students. Yeah, me with this accent. I was giving motivation speeches to these young people, because they need to know that they have so many tools. They have so many opportunities, and they have to work hard to achieve their dreams. Because if someone like me that crossed the border, I didn't have documents for a certain period of time to be able to work in my dreams. And my language is my accent is not the best. And still, I make this happen. They can do it. So they need to hear our stories to get inspired. And because I represent their parents, they came this way, and they are working so hard for these young generations to represent our Latino community. So they need that push sometimes.
I'm proud of you. I am proud of you, and I'm grateful that you share your background and your experience so candidly. I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Jasmine.
Anna, you have a boy, you are a single mom, you have a job, you have a blog, you have some projects on the pipeline. How do you do it all?
Oh my God. I don't even know how I do it.
Don't tell me you don't sleep because
Yeah,
I know
I
that's
don't
how you do
sleep.
it. That's
Yeah.
how you do it, guys. Sorry. We don't sleep.
Yeah, I don't sleep. It's not easy at all. But yeah, just like you mentioned, I have a full-time job. And I have to tell you, because I feel so proud of myself. I left radio a year ago. And I thought that that was the end of my career. It was probably some of the proudest moments in my life after my divorce.
Why did you think, why did you feel that that was the end of your career?
You know what? I was doing the same thing for 7 years. I knew my routine. I knew that I loved that. I knew that was what I loved to do. And then
You were in your element.
yeah, I felt happy. But when the company made that decision, I thought that I was not good enough. Just like we kept saying during this podcast.
Hold on. What decision? I missed that part.
The company let me go because they flipped the format. The radio station used to be a Spanish pop station.
Okay.
So when it was pop, we did so good. Our morning show was one of the best. And
yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. We actually, the Marconi Awards, it's kind of like the Oscars, but for radio. So we won a Marconi as the best Spanish pop station in the whole country.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah. And also my co-host, Showboy, he won as the Spanish radio personality for the whole country.
He's now in New York, isn't he?
And now he's in New York.
He's amazing. Yeah. I love him.
He's a great guy. So we were doing great. And, like for a morning show to be in the same market for 6 years, you have to be good because, like they change projects every 2-3 years at the most. So I felt like that was my space. And when they flipped to original Mexican music, there were so many changes that I was not happy with. And of course, they thought that I was not the right fit for that target because they were looking for a different women to be in that show. And I didn't represent the women and I didn't want to be the women.
What were they looking for?
They were looking for a different character. Mm-hmm. I can describe myself as a Latina that works really hard with big values. Mm-hmm. I'm happy to say that I'm Christian. Mm-hmm. I follow the Bible. I want to be the best example to my son. I respect myself as a woman. I've been divorced for 7 years. And I swear no one in the Dallas-Fort Worth area can say something bad about me as a woman. And I represent that women. And especially in this country and living in this new area where divorce is, it's like like being in fashion. Mm-hmm. If you are divorced, you are in. It's really hard to keep your values, to respect yourself as a woman, as a man, that I was trying so hard to give that image to our listeners. And then when they flipped to original Mexican music, they wanted me to be that crazy woman, talking about sex, not having respect for myself, being the sex toy for the guys in the show, and showing up my body, and just being that crazy woman that I'm not.
It is so sad that having the power to reach out to many listeners, sadly, what some companies consider is that people need to behave like that in order for them to get the ratings. It's really sad. I mean, I see that and I feel ashamed because belittling women for the sake of entertaining an audience, and I'm glad that you decided to walk away from that. I think
many things went through my mind during those days, because it was either having a check, putting myself as a clown and as a sexual toy and bringing food to my son, or just moving forward, looking for something different, challenging myself, finding my other talents. And I had to discover that radio, or at least that project was not all. There are more opportunities out there, and I needed to do that big challenge, that big change in my life. And I did it. And I'm so proud I did it, because now I'm super happy. I have more projects than ever. Even when I left the radio, many of those clients that are working with me back in the radio station, they came to me and they were like, we don't care if you are not at the radio station anymore. We want to keep working with you. And actually, I have 4 clients that have been with me since then. One of them is an immigration lawyer. I have a supermarket franchise, and I have a car dealer franchise that they keep working with me. I do their radio spots and their TV spots, and I'm their brand ambassador. And I was like, oh my God, so I can manage my own business. I can sell myself as a talent. I can build my own company, and I can challenge my mind working in a different path. Maybe I'm not in radio as I was before, but I'm still doing what I love. And also, I have to thank this TV company that always believe on my talent, and I'm a TV reporter now for them. So you see, the world never ended for me. I was just scared about change, but now I'm so proud I made that decision, because my son is proud of me, and that's the most important thing for me at the end.
That's what it matters, for me too. I mean, what I do in life, I just want to work hard, be a person of integrity, and pursue excellence, and teach my kids that. That's all I really care about. And whatever happens around that, it's going to make me happy. And you mentioned that you didn't know what was coming after. And I think that's a fear that we all feel when we've been in the same job or doing the same activity. There's people that are doing the same job for 20, 30 years, and a layoff comes and you feel like your world is ending because you don't know what you're good at, but that one job you were doing. And I think that your experience, and just like many other people have gone through layoffs, sometimes we don't see it, but there's a blessing in disguise. After you get laid off, you're like, what am I going to do with my life? And now you look back and you're like, wow, I was actually given so many opportunities.
Yeah. And it's when I discovered that I can be a businesswoman, that I can sell myself as a talent, that I can be the best mom, because now I have more time to be with my kid. I'm traveling a lot since last year, and I'm so happy. That's one of my hobbies, and I love traveling.
Yeah.
And now I'm traveling with my son. And then in the new company that I'm working at right now, we produce training videos for engineers.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel so proud of myself, because I chose journalism because I hated math. And
I did too.
Yeah. But you know what? I'm super good at math. So I went back to study, and now I'm getting my certification as a trainer. They have a certification called Green Belt and Black Belt.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm working on that, and I'm just so proud. And let me tell you this, because that happened actually today, and I'm so happy. My college, my alma mater,
mm-hmm.
back in Mexico, now they are our clients. They are buying our training videos. Yeah, they are buying our training videos to be part of the curriculum for the engineers at the school. So they are watching me right now on those videos, talking to, these people that are very smart, because they talk about formulas and they talk about, concepts, very complicated. So I feel so proud of myself because I'm making an impact. And at the end of the day, I guess as a journalist or every single person in media, we should have that in mind. We got to make impact, because God gave us the opportunity to have either a microphone or a TV camera in front of us just to say nothing. No, I guess we have to remember where we came from. We have to remember that people over there need us. And even people here in the U.S. or Latino community need people happy, need people with good ideas in front of the camera or in front of the microphone, Jasmine, because we don't need trash.
Exactly.
We need good content, and we need people working for our community. So that's my commitment. And I'm so glad that I'm doing that now more than ever.
I am too, and I have to chime on that because I think that being a journalist, it is not only a privilege, but you carry a lot of responsibility to be able to really seek the best for the audience that you're talking to. And that's part of what this podcast was created to do. I wanted to create content that would empower and inspire people, and I didn't want to create stuff that would make them sad, because we already have enough sadness and tragedies going on around the world. And I think we need to encourage ourselves to seek for better. So excellent. Now let's talk about your blog. How did you come up with the idea? It's called Rollos de Mujeres in Spanish. What do you call it? Let's translate it in English for our listeners. And what inspired you to start it? And what do you write about?
Well, I guess we could say women topic. That may be the closer name in English. And well, I started my blog 4 years ago. And I started writing because I love writing. I love reading and writing. And that was my space, because at the radio station, I had a character. I had to play a character, and it was close to my personality, but still I had so much to say. And in radio, you just have minutes because you have commercials or you have a 5-hour show and you can't say a lot. So that was my space to express myself. And I started writing about my own personal, stories, how I came to the US, my challenges, how being a single mother was. And I just started writing about my personal stuff. And then one day I realized that I have a lot of traffic. And I was like, oh my God, people is actually reading my blog. And then I have a lot of, followers through the radio station. So they wanted to know more about me. And I started discovering that people really read. Like sometimes you think that they don't like to read, but if you put your content in a way that they are interested on, they are gonna read it. And then 2 years later, 2 agencies contacted me. One is in LA and the other one is in Miami, and they were sending me emails offering me collaborations with different brands. So then I discovered that you can even make money through your blog. And I was like, oh my God, now I can, buy a new pair of shoes if I start writing articles and doing integrations with brands. So that's how I started. And after 4 years, thanks God, last year I had the opportunity and the privilege of winning an award in Miami.
Wow, I didn't know that. Tell me.
Yeah, there is a huge event in Miami called Hispanicize, and it's all about content creators, YouTubers, bloggers, people in media, and they have an award called Tecla Award. So they have different categories.
Do they have any for podcasting? Because
they actually do have some podcast awards too. So I don't know who nominated me. It was a huge surprise, and I kind of imagine, because I have many blogger friends and I have many friends in media, and I'm pretty sure I know who was, but I can say the name because I don't know if
you don't know for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So this person nominated me, and then one day I saw on Facebook that they were doing the final announcement of the finals in each category of the award. So I was watching it, and then they say my name and my blog's name, and I was like, oh my God. So I went to Miami last March, and I won the prize. And
that's amazing.
Yeah,
congratulations.
Thank you. That was a lot for me because that happened at the moment when I didn't have a job. So it's when I started selling again. And it was just amazing. That's how I started my blog. And until now, I keep writing and I keep sharing videos. I actually have my YouTube channel. And I work with so many agencies, sometimes just to give free stuff to my people, like movie passes or tickets for concerts. And my mom told me so many times, you shouldn't be doing this anymore. You already have a full-time job and you do so many things. You don't have time. But you know what, Jasmine? Every time when I go to the movies and I can invite 40 women with me or 40 people with me to join the movie, and I see their smiles and I see their happiness, it's like, it's worth it.
You're building a community.
Yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah.
And we just watched this movie called Hidden Figures, about these three women, these three Black women working in NASA back in the 60s. And it was a very inspiring movie. So I took a bunch of people with me because I had free passes.
Yeah.
When we left the theater, they were crying. We were crying, and they were so inspired for the movie. And when I got home, because they were hugging me and they were thanking me because of the passes, but I was like, oh my God, they give me more joy than they could imagine.
Yeah.
So sometimes you think that you do good things for people, but that at the end of the day is for you.
Wow.
Because that feeling, that sensation that a smile or a thank you or seeing a happy face give you, no one and no money can give that to you, Jasmine. That's why I do it.
I mean, those smiles are like instant gratification. You cannot replace that. That's priceless. That's great. And I think that's what makes you so unique, because I haven't heard of many people who take 40 people to the movies. Now, I guess as part of your huge social media following, you have over 33,000 people on Facebook, over 3,500 in Twitter, plus who knows how many on Instagram. I guess this is what helps you keep the connection with them, that you sometimes even have chances to meet with them.
Yeah, many of them have been following me since I was in radio, and they send me messages every single day. I say this in a very humble way, but sometimes, Jasmine, I have over 100 messages per day.
Wow.
And it's not easy. Every night after my baby falls asleep, I take an hour. And you're going to see that. You're going to see me liking pictures and doing stuff on Facebook at 10 p.m. every single night.
You need to maintain it. Yeah. I mean, because otherwise people will not stick to you, because social media, it does require a lot of work. But I think that the relationships, if we can call it that, because you're not really in person with the followers, but you do build relationships that with time turn into them trusting you and knowing that your content's going to be there, and they'll keep coming back.
Yeah, and their messages are actually really good messages. It's not the just common message that says hi. Actually, they take time to write, like really good stuff for me, because either they are asking me for help about, I don't know, a recommendation of a good immigration lawyer, or they are asking me about how to deal with something as a mom, or they are asking me how I am feeling. And that's important for me because they are worried about me. They care about me. As an example, last night, my baby was really sick and I posted something on Facebook. I don't even remember what I posted because I'm pretty sure I was crying.
Aww.
And this morning when I woke up, I had over 100 messages.
Wow.
People praying for my son. So that's just amazing, Jasmine. It's like if they take the time to write me a message, I need to take the time to respond back. They deserve it,
Wow.
because at the end of the day, my short and humble career is because of them. If they don't listen to me, if they don't, go to the lawyer that I'm recommending, or if they don't go to the supermarket I'm recommending, or if they don't visit my blog, I don't have a job. So they deserve it.
I mean, I like the way you put it, because for so many people, they take advertising for granted or support for granted. We take the viewers for granted, but you actually do the opposite. You respond back to them and you maintain that relationship, and it requires a lot of time, and I commend you for doing that. Now, Anna, as we move on, what are some of the biggest challenges that you've faced? You talked about being uncomfortable with the format on the show. What are there other big challenges that you have overcome?
Um, Especially in media, I guess is still dominated for male. It's an industry where you don't see many women,
Especially in
or
radio, yeah.
yeah, and especially on the corporate positions.
Mm-hmm.
Probably you see female talent, but you don't see a lot of females in those big positions as a program director or running the station.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a big challenge because they think that you don't have good ideas, or they think that your only job is to show up your body, or they think that you just have to smile and give a comment of the topic. And I work really, really hard during those years to show to people that I have a brain, that I have ideas, that I'm smart, that I represent, that I can make people feel, like even cry or smile or have hope. I can make that happen. But it was not easy. I guess that was my biggest challenge, and also not feeling comfortable with the format, but also my language. I gotta be honest. I was born and raised in Mexico, and Spanish is my first language. And I was super happy because the show was in Spanish. So I was able to communicate 100%, because even when I try to make jokes in English, it's not the same. And I consider myself a funny person. That was my job, to make people laugh. But when I tried to say that in English, I was just horrible.
It doesn't work out.
Yeah,
It doesn't work out for me either.
Probably if they see me in person, if they don't laugh of my joke, they laugh of my face. But that didn't work on radio. And actually, I had the blessing when I was, looking for a job. I had a big dream. There is a morning show in the English market that I love, and that's my main dream. One day I would love to be in that show. And I contacted someone that I knew from the show, and they were so interested in me. They were like, send us a demo. We want to hear about you. You are like a good people that can person that can represent the Latino community in the show, blah, blah, blah. So they were so excited, Jasmine.
Mm-hmm.
But when I did my interview in English, I was a mess. And I was like, oh my God, but we can edit the audio and I can sound better. I know the tricks in radio.
Yeah.
But they were like, no. And I need
because your English wasn't good enough, or why?
It was a tough moment for me, but yeah, because I had an accent. I have an accent.
But it was because you had an accent, or because the English? I guess it's a combination of both.
Yeah, it's a combination. But as a producer, because I was a producer too for the morning show.
Mm-hmm.
I think there is a target for people like me. I represent people like me. I represent those 11 millions of immigrants that come to the U.S. not speaking a perfect English.
Yeah.
So I guess there is an opportunity, but that's me.
No, you know what? I mean, and we'll veer off the topic a little bit, but I have had conversations with friends who work in radio, and they are telling me that these major radio companies, they are trying to reach out to the Latino market. So they are trying to find bilingual people. And I don't think they really know what they want, but they realize that there's a huge opportunity and they're trying to tap into the Hispanic market. And I think they know that people would relate more to someone like you or me who have an accent than someone who speaks perfect English, whose face they cannot see, because that's the thing with radio. On TV, you can look like Jennifer Lopez and have a perfect American accent, and you're on TV. And maybe the Hispanic viewer will relate. But on radio, hey, here you and I talking Tex-Mex here, and maybe, our Hispanic viewers will be able to relate to us, and they'll be able to appreciate that we not only put effort in speaking good Spanish, but we are trying to, as we started this podcast, grow, improve, educate ourselves, open doors, seek new opportunities. And I think there's something to be said about that, and I appreciate that you were. That you agreed to do the interview in English, because for both of us, this is weird, guys. I mean, her and I talking in English, really not natural. Not at all. It's so much easier to just keep it in Spanish.
But you know what? That's why I love your idea of doing this podcast, because you are representing our people. And because thanks God, now the internet exists. And now we don't have to ask any big company to give us the opportunity to express ourselves and to represent our community. Because now with this kind of platforms like YouTubers, like blogs, like podcasts, you can open your own market. And you know what? The good thing about it is, like, if people like your podcast, they are gonna listen into it even if they are in China.
Exactly.
So take this, big company. I don't need you anymore. There is a way to make money also through a podcast. So hopefully in the future, we find a way to monetize or work, because I know that you are putting so many hours to this project because you love it. But at the end of the day, I don't know, in 2-3 more years, probably this is going to be your main income. You never know.
I would love to. I mean, that would be fantastic. And anyone who has the time and wants to put in the time can do it. I mean, I didn't know anything about podcasting. I've never done radio before. What I did, I went online, I went on YouTube, I watched a few tutorials. I spent many hours sitting on the computer until I was able to publish my blog and publish the podcast. And here we are. This is take 9, like I've mentioned before. Never even imagined one day I was going to have a podcast. Turns out, yes, you can actually be talking to the world and be able to pick up the topics and find the people you wanna share on the show and share stories like yours. Because, I realize that there aren't very many places where you can just invite people and talk, invite friends, invite colleagues, invite people you don't know, and ask them to share their story and inspire others. And that's what I want to do. I just want to share content that's going to inspire people, and that's going to be, that's going to bring me joy, and that's all I care. That's really all I care.
And you're doing a great job, Jasmine. And we know how radio and TV works. You have 3 minutes to show a story.
No, that's too much. It's like 1:30.
That's too much, right? And the radio is the same. You have a block of 4 minutes to talk about something. And I remember feeling so bad when we have artists in studio, and we gotta cut them because we didn't have time. We need to run some commercials. It was rude. And then now you can do whatever you want. And every single person has a story.
Exactly.
And every single person has an inspiring story. So this is a great opportunity. And I have to say thank you, Jasmine, for taking the time and really working so hard to make this happen.
Well, thank you. Thank you for listening, and thank you for being here. And my invitation, if you guys listening, if you want to share an inspiring life story, it's got to be raw. It's got to be on the go, whatever, we're talking, that's what's going on the air. Contact me. You can always do that. I'll be glad to talk to you and share your story. So as we prepare to wrap it up, Anna, what's on the future for you? What are some of the projects, plans, dreams that you have in mind?
Well, I don't know if I should say this because I've been saying this since a year ago and I haven't done it, but I'm working on my podcast too.
Yes, the more you say, the more real it becomes.
I'm going to do this happen. You know what? I've been working on it for a year. And not just myself. I have a couple of friends working with me. They are very professional. They produce my intro, my outro. They are giving me topics, ideas, the image of the show. So I've been putting a lot of work on it. But I'm very perfectionist. That's my problem. I put so much on my back. I want to do it perfect or not doing it. So my friends keep calling me and they are like, "Don't you shouldn't care. Just do it."
You know what? My advice to you is just do it, because I'm kind of like you too, but I learned that in order to get it going, I just had to do it, and then on the way perfect it. Work every single day on making every podcast episode better than the one before. And that's my advice to you, as somebody that just sat down one day and decided that was going to launch a podcast.
Well, that's my promise for you today and to your audience. I'm gonna do this. I'm not gonna say when, but yeah, soon.
Yeah. And just
So
make sure
yeah.
when you do it, let us know, and I'll be happy to share it with all
I
our
will.
listeners.
I will. So that's one of my projects right now, actually, to keep working on my blog, being focused at my work at this company where we produce the training videos. I'm going to be traveling a lot this year, thanks to my job. And of course, keep learning and try to be the best mom I can. And I never talk about this, Jasmine, but I'm going to do an exception because of you. But for 7 years, I forgot about being a woman. I was so focused in my job and being the best mom I can that I forgot about myself. And that's something that I want to communicate to your audience, to my audience, to my followers, that we have to remember to be humans, and yeah, I'll find the love. I'll find my other half. And that's my goal too, because sometimes we feel like that we don't have the right to say it, especially being Latino women. We many times think that we were born to marry the guy who chooses us.
Mm-hmm.
We feel that we can choose that person. So that's my main goal too now, because I wanna be happy as a woman too. I want to show my son that marriage is the most beautiful thing in the world. Even if I had a divorce, I still believe in love, and I believe in marriage, and I believe there is a good man just waiting for me to be ready. And I think after 7 years of being divorced and not having a serious relationship, I think I'm ready.
Did you all listen to that, guys?
And this is the first time I say it.
So this is an open invitation.
Yeah, let me give you my phone number.
Okay, throw it out there, the phone number.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm saying this because I know many people out there, they feel the same like me. I have so many single friends and girlfriends, and they are going through the same issue. We don't have time to connect now. We don't have time for ourselves. We are the best at work. We are the best, like getting a raise at work. We are the best, like as a mother, as a father, but we forget about ourselves.
Yeah, we take care of everyone else. And sometimes we forget that we need some self-care too.
Yes. So that's my goal this year as well. And of course, just being a good person and communicating with my audience. That's my goal too.
I love it. Now, as we are going to prepare to say goodbye, are there any blogs, books, podcasts, whatever you're tuning into that you find inspiring that you would like to share with our audience?
Well, I have to say this. They have to listen to your podcast. I'm loving it.
Of course.
And I'm not saying it just because I'm here right now, but actually I listened to a couple of them. I listened to the one with Lorraine Cáceres.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She's a very good friend of me too. So, and it was a great story. And yeah, they should listen to your podcast. And also, I went back to read the Bible. I say this very happy that I'm Christian,
mm-hmm.
and I needed this because sometimes I say I'm Christian because that's I was baptized, but I need to work on it. I need that spiritual side of me to grow, and I need to do that for my son as well. So I went back to read the Bible every single night.
Mm-hmm.
You are not going to find a better book full of knowledge, inspiration, and a book that can give you peace. So I'm doing that right now. And also I'm reading a book. It's called The Simple Leader.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I'm reading it because my boss wrote this book.
Wow, that's
and
amazing.
and he gave it to me. His name is Kevin Mayer. And this book gives you a great advice about how to be a good leader, not just in your professional life, but also in your personal life. So it's a great book. And of course, I recommend you to visit my blog, rollosdemujeres.com. Yeah, that's what I'm reading right now.
Okay, and I'm going to have a link to all these resources that Anna's sharing. I'm going to have a link to the podcast notes on my blog. So if you guys didn't get the name or whatever, you can just head on to my blog, and I'll give you the details in a minute. Now, Anna, thank you so much. Please share with people how can they connect with you. You are huge on Facebook, Instagram, and everything. So tell them the handles.
Yeah, super easy. Just look for Anna, ANA, CRUZ Radio, which is my name, Ana Cruz Radio, ANA, CRUZ Radio. And I'm the same way in Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, everywhere. You find me that way.
Easy enough.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Anna. I really appreciate your honesty. I like your story. Everyone has a story, and I am so grateful that you were on the air today with us, sharing. I appreciate you, and I really thank you for sharing and being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jasmine. And I swear, I hope people understand what I say. If no, I'm sorry. I can do this again.
Maybe we need to provide like a transcript, a written transcript.
We should. But it was fun. It was really fun. Thank you, Jasmine.
I agree. What do you guys think about this interview? Now, if you really need the transcript, please let me know. I'll be happy to provide it to you. I'll type it up myself. Thank you so much, guys, for listening. Remember, keep in touch. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, everywhere on social media. My handle is Yasmin Thomas, Yasmin with a YEZMIN THOMAS. You can also head on to my website, www.yasminthomas.com, to find all the show notes for this episode. Make sure you share it with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, everywhere you are. Please get the word out. I want to reach more people. I want to inspire more people. I want to get these stories out to the world to make a contribution to inspire and give people some wisdom on how we can live a more fulfilling life. I really appreciate you guys. Also, I wanted to ask you if you wouldn't mind taking a minute of your day, if you could go on iTunes, search for my podcast, and leave me a written review. I would really appreciate it. Those written reviews help me get the show ranked. They help me get the word out about the show, and they help other people who are looking for this kind of content find it. So if you wouldn't mind, I would appreciate if you guys can head out to iTunes and leave me a written review. Until next time, remember, take it easy, keep it simple. I'm going to talk to you guys on the next take.